It is true, I think, that mountain names are generally not as old as river names, because although mountains were boundaries at certain times, many times, they weren't boundaries as frequently as rivers or streams were. So the very oldest and most difficult names of places are, I think, in rivers or streams. I have done a little climbing since the war. When I was in Portree school as a teacher, I used to go alone. For instance, I remember telling the matron of the hostel in Portree that I was going to MacLeod's tables, but the motorbike had a way of turning towards the Cuillins. I became very, very fond of the Cuillins. I think chance may give names to peaks, and very often I think the names are arbitrary. In Ceavach, it just means the hearth. And that's the only pronunciation I've ever heard for the ordinary word. In Ceavach. I have never heard the name of this mountain pronounced by a Gaelic speaker, but if Narnain is one word, it must be pronounced in Gaelic Narnain. I've always heard it as Crick Mickey, but it could be Craig Mecky. A friend and I in 1935 set out to climb it, but had to turn back because of very, very heavy rain. The name Five Sisters is never used in Gaelic. It's called Etive Mor, the big mountain, to distinguish it from Etive, the long mountain across on the other side of Glenlich. As far as I know, nobody in Kintail ever says anything except Sgurúren, which ought to be spelled U with a grav accent above it, R-A-I-N. Sgurnakish nakishta duya, the score of the black kist or chest. Probably the Kintail person will say score na kishta duya. As it is written, it is pronounced Liuhach, but I know that old native Gaelic speakers from Torridon sometimes pronounce it Liogach, where the T in the middle should be a G. Well, of course, in English it's just Ben Nevis. I've never heard anything else. The Gaelic is Bein Nivesh, which is spelled Beinnibheis. If you say Ben Croachan, it's not bad, it's all right. But the Gaelic is Croachan Biaun. Unach ikach. In Gaelic, we usually put the definite article before it, which is A-N-T hyphen, and say untunach ikach. It means the gapped or notched mountain. Well, of course, in English, Ben Mor is a perfectly good pronunciation. In Gaelic, it is Evein Mor, the big mountain. I have never heard a separate name for the inaccessible pinnacle itself. It's regarded as part of the Sgurgereg. Now, the native pronunciation is Sgurgereg, the being the. There is a glide A or sound put between Sgur and Gereg. That's very common in Gaelic. Sgurgereg, the red peak. The difficulty very often arises from the loss of a Gaelic-speaking, native Gaelic-speaking population in the environment. Names, I think, are important. Now, some names are very much more beautiful or resonant than others. For instance, you get both in Skye and in Harris names like Ronjaville. Those Gaelicized Norse names are very beautiful because Gaelic has a way of rounding and lengthening the more angular Norse names. I like mountains of all kinds. When I saw the Alps for the first time, the Cuillins became less to me. They gradually came back. Sgurreningillion. Sgur has a long U normally, but when you put in the glide vowel between the two consonants after it becomes short. Sgurreningillion. It will be pronounced in Gaelic Sulaving. I am told that it is Sulus from a Norse word meaning a pillar. The Gaelic pronunciation would be Buachaille. Now, there's Aljagan, meaning a jewel, or something very beautiful, and it could be the genitive of that. There is, however, a difficulty, as pointed out by the great Watson, that there's an inveraligan which would suggest that the name came from a river. River names are so very old. That could be pronounced in different places Brai Riavach or Breriach. Now, Brai are pronounced in some places Bre or Brea. It's a word for braes. It means the upper part. Riavach, which is often pronounced in many places riach, means generally brindled, and it's used very much of Highland cows with a mixture of black and red, and it's a very common adjective for the devil. First is pronounced skurvaim. Mam can mean anything like really a lump on the body to a rounded hill. Skurrenur, the peak of the yew tree. Ur, a yew tree, and it would appear to be a very common kind of tree in the old Highlands. Stop means it's much the same word as the English stab, something that stabs. Stop barn, the fair or white, stop. In Gaelic, it is bein loming. It means a beacon hill. I think that is very probable. The proper Gaelic pronunciation is bein auler. I don't think there is a difficulty. There is an old word, al, which you get in Alcloyd for Dunbar, the old word for Dumbarton, meaning rock, and dor, an old word for water, which is used in many place names. I would say Scuramore, but no doubt a lot of people would not put in the glide vowel and between the words and would say Scuramore. It means a big pig. Meow gorom. Meow is used of a rounded hill. Gorom means blue, but in Gaelic of vegetation it means green. The Gaelic is in slugach or in slug, and slug is a Gaelic for a spear, but it would appear to have something to do with the word spear, although it certainly doesn't look like a spear. In Gaelic, it is bein hop, though I have never heard it in Gaelic. I'm very far away from the place. The fact that it starts with an H is good evidence that it's a Norse word. The pronunciation of that is lur vein. Lur means a hoof. There's no doubt about that. The B becomes a V sound and is written BH. Lur vein.